Gentlemen, ladies and queers, welcome to Light Club. The first rule of Light Club is we do not talk about expensive gear. Second rule of Light Club is we do not talk about expensive gear until I get a sponsorship by Nanlite. Third rule of Light Club: if the highlights clip, the light spills or flattens the image, the setup is over. Fourth rule: only 2 lights to a setup. Fifth rule: 1 setup at a time, fellas. Sixth rule: no softbox, no excuse. Seventh rule: the lights stay on as long as they have to. And the 8th and final rule: if this is your first video of Light Club, you have to like and subscribe.
I hope you enjoyed this short intro scene and my little homage to the movie Fight Club. Today's topic is gonna be cinematic lighting on a budget. What makes a film feel cinematic? I mean, image-wise. It's not just the camera or the actors inside of the shot. It's mostly the lighting. Cinematic lighting isn't about making things just brighter. It's about shaping emotion, guiding attention and giving depth to a flat image. Today we are breaking down the core principles behind cinematic lighting, the fundamentals that professionals use to tell visual stories. But normally when we think about cinema, we often think of big crews, cranes, tons of gear and huge budgets. But in this video I will show you how we can achieve cinematic lighting at home without the big budgets. And if you want to see how I created this window effect here on the wall behind me, stay till the end. I will show you a nice trick how to get this effect on a really low budget. So let's have a look into our first shot in which we will use only natural lighting.
For this shot I position myself close to the window, and so that we don't need any lights at all, because for this shot we can use the ambient light from the sky. And today we are lucky because we have a really overcast sky, so the whole sky acts more or less like a big softbox, which will create like a really soft shadow in my face. And yeah, because I'm sitting close to the window and the room inside is more dark, I get this nice shadow on this side. And yeah, so should be a very nice shot with no money at all, besides our expensive camera gear, of course.
Our goal with lighting a shot is to create the most depth in the image as possible. We only have 2 dimensions in our images, so we need to create a 3D look with light and shadows, like in a painting. So an important rule is to always shoot into the shadow side of the face to create the most depth. I will show you this and the principle of backlighting here with my teapot. If I position my light in front of it, we get no shadows and a really flat image. But now let me position the light slightly behind the subject, so that the subject is between the camera and the light. And voila, we get beautiful shadows and a more 3-dimensional look. Another example for this principle is this shot here. I am sitting in my bed with just the house lights turned on. What we get is a very flat shot without any shadows. So let's change this by adding a little bit of shape with our lights. So first of all, I attached a Fresnel lens to my 100-watt LED light. This helps to focus the beam a little bit and prevents it from spreading everywhere. I dialed in a cold color temperature to mimic moonlight shining into the room. And here I also added a dark fabric as negative fill, because sometimes it's not only about adding lights, but also about subtracting light. And this dark fabric doesn't reflect any light back onto my face, which will give us a much more contrasty look. Then I turned on the little practical light here. A practical light is a light which is visible within the frame. And here is what we get. Already much better, right? But I'm actually not really happy with it, and I think it is still too flat. By the way, I'm not a professional cinematographer, and I'm learning this while I make these videos as well. But let's try to make this shot a little bit more interesting by changing our camera angle and lighting setup. So by positioning the camera on the other side next to the bed, we directly get more separation between the subject and the background, because we are not shooting directly into the wall. So, more depth. Then I hung up some shears to give the feeling that we have a window over here. Then I positioned the light with a Fresnel lens behind the curtains so that it looks like it is the moon shining through the window onto my face. The practical light gives the shot a good color contrast between the warm light and cold light from the moon. And yeah, with this I am quite happy now. And if you have a bicolor light where you can change the color temperature, then you can easily change this night scene into a warm sunrise just by adjusting the color temperature to something like 2700 or 3200 Kelvin. Another important principle is to motivate your light. Light needs a reason to exist. In film, light should feel like it's coming from somewhere real, a window, a lamp, a phone screen, or the sun. Even highly stylized scenes still follow an internal logic. If the audience can subconsciously believe where the light is coming from, the world feels authentic. If they can't, then it feels fake. So let's have a look how we can put this principle into practice. Here we are in my living room. We have two visible light sources in the frame, the window and the lamp on the other side. Let's go for a day for night shot, where we try to get a nighttime look even when we shoot in the middle of the day. So first of all, we need to bring up some shears in front of the window to lower the exposure. If not, we could also use ND filters on our lens to reduce the light in the frame. But because we are doing a low budget video and to compensate for the ND filters we would need much stronger lights, we will use the shears for now. So now we need to set up our key light. We use again our Smallrig light because it is a bicolor light. And here we have to set the light to the same temperature as the lamp visible in the shot, as this is motivating our key light. So the audience will believe that the light is coming from the lamp, even when the lamp is in reality not strong enough to illuminate my face at all. When we set up our key light, we also have to think about the quality of our light. I don't mean the build quality of the fixture itself. I mean with light quality, we are referring to hard or soft light. Hard light creates sharp shadows and high contrast. Soft light creates gentle shadows and smooth transitions. So for this shot I wanted to go for a bit softer look. So we need to add a modifier to our light to soften it up. For example, a softbox would do the job for us. But yeah, they can be quite expensive in my opinion. And if you don't have one, don't worry. We can also use a simple shower curtain. So what you can also use is one of those 5-in-1 reflectors. They come in really handy. So yeah, for example, you have like a negative fill side, you have reflective surface in silver, in gold and in white. And what also comes with it is this diffusion material. So you can also use this, of course, instead of a softbox, and this is really cheap. By positioning it in front of our light source, we increase the size of the light source relatively to the subject, which gives us a much softer look. This looks already good. But on this side here, we need to add a little bit of light so that we get the impression of moonlight hitting me from the window. Also, where you position your light can have a huge impact on your image. For example, in this shot here, we get a really nice separation by using top lighting. This really guides the viewer's attention onto the subject. So here in my bathroom, I used a C-stand to hang the light over myself. Still, the top light is motivated by the practical light on the wall, which makes it believable. And because I wanted to create a more stylized and moody shot, I added a small RGB light set to a slight green color and shot it into the ceiling to just fill in the shadows a little bit. And now, as I promised, I will show you how you can achieve this effect. You could buy one of the spotlight attachments for a couple $100, or you can go and buy one of those cheap mirrors here. Make sure they are not made of real glass, because yeah, you don't want it to shatter somewhere on set, right? Better get an acrylic one. Then you can put some gaff tape on it to imitate window blinds, and there you have it. Now you just need to find the right angle to shoot your light into it. Just play around a little bit with distance and angle. Now you can get nice creative shots on a very low budget. If you understand the mentioned principles, motivation, direction and light quality, then you can start lighting like a cinematographer. Do you remember rule number 8 of Light Club? Then like and subscribe. And if you want to see more about practicing cinematography at home, click on this video here. See you.